So as I was sitting here pondering, just thinking about the latest S storm circulating on these internets, I was thinking to myself, you know what, I should, if I could, I would dispute this purchase. Then I was like, well, what proof do I have? How can I dispute a purchase based on TikTok videos and I don't have concrete evidence? So I said, you know what? Let me call them and ask some questions. So when I come back, I'm going to play a little bit of the phone discussion I had with LV, Louis Vuitton, when I come back. Hey folks, thank you for returning. Those who are solid and you are loyal, you know who you are. I don't have to say your names. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. For real, I do. Okay, I was just sitting there thinking, and I've been thinking about it ever since this S storm hit the fan. And, I was talking to some family members and, some other people. And I was thinking, like, suddenly I was like, well, what if China or these Chinese manufacturers are lying? What if they're so pissed? And now listen, I'm anti-corporation because I do think they're greedy and I don't believe that these bags should be as priced as they are. I don't. But I also believe that when you're having some kind of war, you're what they say, all is fair in love and war. So is China above throwing off fabrications? See, you guys have to realize that a lot of these countries hate America for various reasons. And they're not above doing whatever they can to try to destroy it. So if one way they can destroy America is attacking its staple luxury brands, of course they would do that. Because they know some of these brands are so kind of snooty, they're not going to come on and be like, hey, we're going to defend ourselves. They're going to be like, listen, people know the truth. Those who know. So they know that LV and Gucci and Prada and, Chanel, Birkin, they're not going to come on, or Hermes, they're not going to come on the defense like that. I was like, let me call LV. Let me ask some questions. And then I want to see if other people have called in, inquiring too. Cause who wouldn't? And I know some people are like, yeah, I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't spend that kind of money. Okay, well, listen, it's okay. If you don't want to buy it, that's okay. But the ones who bought it, okay, like I said, if these are, if China claims are false as hell, these are investments. And so if anyone is having a financial situation or emergency, they have the money, they can liquidate it. And especially if there are bags that are discontinued. So whatever amount of money you pay for it, you can be able to ask double that if it's someone who really wants to buy it. So they spent $3,000, they can make $9,000 back. So it's like, don't be a hater. Because if you had that extra money, let's be real. If you had that extra money, you got all your financial obligations situated, you go and buy a luxury bag or luxury shoes or what have you. I'm one of those people, fortunately, that take care of my responsibilities always before I do anything. I don't care if I'm spending $50, $500, $5,000. I make sure my responsibilities are situated because I'm not going to be having a luxury bag and can't put gas in my car. That's just stupid. Or can't put food on my table. That's damn ridiculous. So listen, check out a little bit of the conversation I had with a LV rep, and then I'm going to read a little bit of this article because mainstream is not picking it up. I haven't seen anything reported in the mainstream media about this, what China is claiming. So, but I found an article at businessofashion.com, and some people were talking about it, and they're basically, saying that it's not true. They don't believe it's true. And even though it's not true, it still can have some kind of damaging effect on luxury brands. People are not going to be able to, are not really buy with confidence anymore, you think? So check out part of this conversation I had with an LV rep today.
Your estimated wait time is less than 1 minute.
Hello, thank you for contacting Vuitton Client Services. My name is May I assist you?
Okay, I'm calling about the recent explosion on social media about you guys' products not being made or manufactured in Paris and France, and the prices of your bags. I just bought a bag last year in December. I spent over for it. So of course you can understand how I would feel hearing these things, that I could have got the same bag that China claims they make for you guys for like $100 or $200 or $300. So that doesn't make me feel good at all. So I would like to know, what is Louis Vuitton going to do about what's being said about them? Because being quiet is not going to work. Because I'm pissed off that I bought multiple high products from you guys, expensive products from you guys, and now this is destroying the resale value. Even if it's a lie, it's still damaging the resale value. So is Louis Vuitton going to speak on this? Are they going to give some kind of public address, something?
Yeah, thank you so much for your inquiry. And welcome back to Louis Vuitton. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Well, all of our items are made either in France, France, U.S., the U.S., Spain, or Italy. We don't have any factories in China, or so they're just trying to sell their replica. I don't know if Louis Vuitton will be giving any kind of public statement, because typically we don't really tend to do any public statement over the years. Our brand exists since 1854. So there's always been, there always is waves of rumors depending on the trends and the politics and anything like that. But yeah, you can definitely, I have not been to our workshop, but some of my colleagues have. So I'm not too sure if they will be speaking on it, but I can assure you that the items are not assembled in China and then, made in China and assembled in the U.S. or anything. It's every stage of the operation is made in either France, the U.S., Italy, or Spain. Typically, the shoes are made all in Italy.
You know what? I hear what you're saying, and I know that's what you have to say. And in no way am I saying you're, not speaking honestly with me. But my thing is, it's me. I'm thinking as Louis Vuitton, who's been around for, what you say, hundreds of years or whatever, 100 years. Here's the thing. If I was LV, I certainly would make a statement, because you have millions of customers who feel like I do.
Right. I mean, it's social media. Not everything on social media is accurate. And
of course it's not.
Trying to fight back whatever tariffs they're experiencing by profiting and letting us know that they're, might be made in China, but it's not accurate. But there is a lot of information on our website in regards to our workshop and how our items are made.
But you guys know how prideful Chinese people are, so you got to wonder why. I'm not saying they don't lie, but you got to wonder why now. Why are they coming out saying this now? And they're wanting to sell directly to the public. So after I said that, this is what she said.
You're getting 100% tariffs, that's why.
She said they're getting 100% tariffs. That's why. And when she said that at that moment, it was like, that makes perfect sense why they will be attacking America like that. America's hitting them in their pockets, so they want to hit back. And I'm not saying it crossed my mind today. I didn't really think about it the past couple of days because I was, I was really bothered, to tell you the truth. But when I had time to think about it today, I was like, I don't know. So yeah. Trying to like, you messing with my pockets, I'm going to mess with yours. That's what I am thinking. This is my opinion, folks. Let's continue. Yeah, well, that's true. But it's not like I didn't hear about this before. So, I don't trust any corporation because any way that they can save a dime, because that would be really sickening if you guys did buy these bags for like 20 or something dollars and then charge us thousands of dollars. That would be very, very.
Well, that's not the case, yeah. And if it were the case, that would be very, like, we would have to go under because these tariffs are, right now, the Chinese government is getting tariffed 245%
Mm-hmm.
from the White House decision. So that is not, yeah, that's not the case. These replicas might look authentic when you first get them, but they don't age the same way. They don't smell the same.
Right.
The hardware is
That's true.
different, etc.
Well, I've never bought one, so I wouldn't know. I don't just buy bags just to buy them. Even if they're not a high end luxury brand, I still I still buy Dooney and Burke. So I don't,
Their quality, their leather is excellent.
yeah, Dooney and Burke is a luxury too, and Dooney and Burke was popping in the '90s. So yeah, you kind of you kind of made me feel better, even if it ain't the truth. Jesus Christ, this is terrible. I was upset. You don't even know. You don't, man. I'm sitting up here like I didn't spend all this damn money, and now they telling me. And I'm sure you be on social media. You sound like you be on social media. I'm sure you didn't heard what these people talking about. And listen to some more points that she makes. Like I said, you have time to think more clear when you not tripping off the S storm. Listen.
I know, but it's such a lie because it's like they're also saying that Birkenstock could be made in China, but there's some things that you can. I'm not saying that China. I'm half Chinese, so I'm not saying, and not only that, but I'm not saying that that their quality is not good. I think that Chinese products are really well made, but there are certain things that they don't have the craftsmanship to do, and that includes like luxury bags. That includes like perfume, for example. That's something that's made in. There are certain things that don't make sense to outsource to another country and then have it shipped all the way back to the U.S. or France.
Okay.
Our biggest market is the U.S., so that's why we've had French artisans come and learn how to, and teach the American artisans how to make them. So, yeah, I'm not in Texas. I'm also in LA like you, but a lot of my colleagues who are in Texas, they've been to the workshops. They've seen everything from, they've been to the workshops. We have a workshop in New Jersey that's been there too. I don't know. I think their replicas look good from afar.
Okay.
And I understand. Same thing for Birkins. I understand why someone would want a Birkin. Like a real actual Birkin is $20,000. I absolutely get it why they would say that. Birkins are made in China, but there's no way. Even for tax purposes, France, it's made in France. Like Hermes is made in France.
Oh, am I the only one who called? Anybody else called you guys questioning this?
I got a Canadian client that called 2 days ago, but you're my second call. But I've seen the video, so I understand, and I've seen some people in forums or Twitter talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah. So she made another great point. Check this out.
If that is the case, I wonder why they don't show that in the video of them making Louis Vuitton bags in the video.
That's good. They don't.
They show something that's not a Louis Vuitton bag. They say, "Oh, your luxury bags are made here," but then they show nothing because they don't want to get a lawsuit because they know that they're lying.
That's a good take. What? I mean, what she just said. She said if they are, because my sister's listening, because she didn't. Man, we all bought them. So she was the representative I'm speaking to said that if China is making these bags like they claim, she said why they don't show a video of them making the bag. And then she said that they not doing that because they can get sued to make this. What she's saying makes a lot of sense, So pissed off. They want to mess up. They know they would have messed us up bad.
I went to China and I got a shirt and it was made to my proportions. I was very impressed. I didn't think that they definitely have huge, powerful manufacturing. They've been manufacturing items for years, but I don't know about that level of quality.
And you really, it's not going to be in their favor if they're doing this to piss people off. All these people that spend all this money on these luxury bags, and you try to piss people off, it's gonna backfire on them. For real.
Yeah, it might. I don't think so. I
You
think
don't think
that's
so?
their business. That would.
Right.
No, I mean, there's always going to be replicas, and the war against replicas is a lot. It's a lot of work, and once you find one thing that they're replicating, then and you go after them for that one thing, they
Mm.
go and they try to do something else. It's always going to exist. It's just the fact that some people would believe that. I've seen, because I like to go to thrift stores, and so I can see some vintage pieces, and I always can notice whether it's Louis Vuitton or another brand. I always notice the difference because you can feel it. It might look the same, but it ages
Of
terribly. It's
course.
made with like red leather, and so yeah, I don't know, but I've seen the videos. I think that they're just it's just entertainment, right?
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Did you understand what I said? I just sent it. Did you understand what I said? I said if we find out that China is fabricating this because they're that pissed off, it's gonna backfire on them. You don't think so?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, you understand.
Yeah.
You don't think so? Okay. Well, China acting like they don't give a f. Really? They like whatever. I
And
don't
it's
know.
the oldest country, and
It
they're
is.
huge. It's the size of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so after we finished our well, I finished my and questions about what was going on. I had to take care of some other business, but we ended on a good note. She really I appreciate the time and effort she took in answering my questions, and she didn't come at me in an unprofessional way, even though I did initially I sounded agitated. I sounded agitated. My God, I sound agitated, but she never came, at me sideways. That would have just made it worse. So I applauded for her customer service. I told her I wanted to give her a commendation. So I will be in contact with her later on this week, because like I said, it's some business I need to take care of. But yeah, that, it was soothing to the soul. Like I said, even I hope that this is not damage control and they're telling their employees just to say whatever, but you got to think about it. This can be considered slander, defamation of character, attacking their brand, American brands. I really don't know how this is going to turn out, but like if China don't have anything to prove their allegations, this could be bad for them, I know some people, they might, well, I don't care. Yeah, you do in the long run. In the long run, you will care. So yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit of this article I found, and then I'm gonna shut down the shop. So yes, I found this article again. I found it on BOF. It's businessoffashion.com, and this, like I said, mainstream media is not covering this. They are not covering this at all. So you would have to ask the question why. The title is Trade War TikTok Takes Aim at Luxury. In the video, a Chinese man strolls through a warehouse filled with shelves and shelves of polybag wrapped handbags. This stock is left over from producing bags for European luxury houses, but thanks to Trump's tariffs, I can't export to US anymore. He claims in a post that had over 1 million views, though no longer appears to be available. Mr. Trump, you think you've won? Well, think again. I'll slash prices and expose the scam. For decades, the West called made in China cheap while we quietly crafted their 20,000 made Italy fantasies. If Chinese quality was trash, why would Hermes, Chanel, Gucci beg us to make their bags? Like I said, these are strong allegations. And you coming up against houses that have been established since the 1800s. So, Mr. Chinese man, you're going to have some strong evidence, sir. And then if, like I said, if you're lying, you're causing emotional distress to people who spent money, even if they have exorbitant amounts of money, Who wants to hear that, they dropped these bags and then they dropped them for nothing? Let's continue. This is Trade War TikTok, and it's sweeping up luxury biggest brands in a tide of bad publicity at a time when the sector's image is already under fire and demand is down. Over the last week, posts purporting to come directly from the factory floor. Chinese suppliers to luxury labels have gone viral across the platform. The content creators say they are responding to punitive U.S. tariffs by exposing one of the industry's biggest open secrets. Many of the world's costliest luxury goods are in fact made in a fraction of their retail price in China, they claim. Many of the videos are accompanied by links offering viewers the chance to buy directly from the suppliers. Now, I would say this, if this is a farce, it came from a very deceptive, brilliant mind, because they're like, okay, well, since Trump is charging us all this money, let's go directly to the public. Let's poison the pool, have the public think that these luxury brands are scamming them, and then we can get them to buy our dupes. Think about it. So they said Hermes, Chanel, Gucci did not respond to requests for comment. LVMH declined to comment. European luxury labels have repeatedly said that they do not manufacture products in China. They say they closely guard their supply chains and are bound by strict laws that dictate when a product can be classified as made in France or Italy. I'm doubtful that these TikTok claims are legitimate, Bernstein analyst Luca Soka said Bernstein. Still, they could pose a reputational risk, he added. Indeed, whether or not these factories have genuine links to high-end labels, the videos have foregrounded a gray market for luxury goods that the industry has been struggling to combat for years. They also illustrate how effectively Chinese creators are able to leverage platforms like TikTok to influence consumers in the West. One driving force behind U.S. efforts to force Chinese owner to give up control of its international operations, manufacturers are unabashedly offering cut price dupes of some of luxury most exclusive items, from Hermes Birkins to Chanel boy bags, and in doing so they're challenging the carefully crafted and tightly controlled image on which the luxury industry trades. Do not underestimate what this could mean for luxury, said brand advisor and marketing expert Fabio Becchier in a link post. These videos may seem like noise now, but the narrative they're pushing could quietly reshape how people perceive value, origin, and authenticity. And it's more to that article. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but it's, sometimes things don't have to be true to damage your character, so China, if they are fabricating, I'm saying if they are, and these are not true, these are allegations, unproven allegations that they don't even have the ability to prove, they're doing damage, because it's going to be still some people are still going to be like, what if, always in the back of their head, like, you think I'm gonna spend $5,000 on something that might be, not handcrafted in France and Italy? Why would I do that? So it's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. And I was also thinking earlier, I was talking to someone today, and I was like, they were saying that, especially black folks need to be a little cautious and careful, tread lightly, because, we haven't had a good relationship with Chinese people. Need I remind you? The relationship has been very strained in this country with them who have come here. They have been very prejudiced towards us. And, how often are they running to our community to hire us? So now all of a sudden, I know they're trying to target all consumers, but, black folks, before you run jumping on airplanes to go do business with China, you better do a little more research. You better verify some things before you jump into bed with one. Jump out the fryer into the frying pan? Watch. Be careful. Don't do some research. Don't be running to people that haven't shown you respect. And you know what I'm talking about. So that will be the end. Don't be running to another group of people who have not shown you respect. Okay, that's about it. I'm gonna shut down the shop, and I hope this video was informative because I learned some things myself. So thank you, and see you guys in the next video. Take care.